Good evening. Beautiful evening here in SA. Had me a long day today. It's one of those days that, man, just had my brain going 100 miles an hour. Had quite a week already. I had some stuff I had to take care of today with the doctor, actually yesterday and today. And supposed to be specialists, people that are really supposed to be top notch in their field. And I never seen such a joke in my life. Um, and that's happened to me before. I got in a car accident years ago and messed up my neck, and I was having problems with my with headaches. And the doctors at the time, told me that I needed to get my neck fused, and they were going to take a couple of chips from my hip, and they were going to go in through here and fuse my neck in two spots. And they said that would help my headaches. And I asked the doctor, I said, so what are the chances that this will heal by itself? And he says, well, and I said, that's all I needed. That's it. I'm not touching my neck. And later on, I had friends of mine that had the fused their necks and whatnot, and they regretted it because they had lost range of motion and whatnot. It just was not something that they would recommend. So I was glad I didn't do it. And today I saw more of that stuff. Man, running around from one doctor to the other, getting told different things, and it was a joke. But I couldn't help but think of what we see happening with this whole COVID thing and the vaccinations. Should you get vaxxed? You shouldn't get vaxxed. All the religious BS people try and throw out there, the mark of the beast, and all the conspiracy theorists and whatever. I don't have any of those conspiracy theories. I don't believe in them. I just don't. I try to believe in science, and but I also know that science is not perfect, and you ain't gonna fool me. Um, you can still pass the virus on even if you get the COVID shot. Colin Powell just died, and he was fully vaccinated. My dad died the day after he got vaccinated. So I don't hold it against anybody that doesn't get the vaccine. I just don't. That said, I don't believe that they should mandate that vaccine either, not in a free country. I think that's bad news, and I'm not giving my freedoms to anybody. I don't care who you are or what you think. I will do as I please with my body when I'm ready, and that's the end of it. Am I against vaccines? No. I think that they can be a very good thing. Do I think they're a money maker too? Yeah, I do. And I don't trust the big pharma at all. And I think all these politicians, I don't care who you worshipped or who you believed in or whatever. I think they're all steeped in it. If they wanted this stuff to change, it would change. There's no question in my mind, but it doesn't. So you have to advocate for yourself. My son saw me deal with doctors and whatnot, and I had to tell him what was up. Hey, look, this is the way things are, and I'm not waiting here all day. My time is valuable, just like yours is, and got him to jump a little better, got things moving. Because if I wouldn't have, who knows how long we would have been there. And same thing happened when I messed up my neck. They tried to pull the fast one, and everything can be done with surgeries and blah blah blah. No, my body, God gave me everything I need to heal myself, and when He didn't, I've used my sense and I've gotten what I've had to get done. Like the polio vaccine or that other stuff, rubella that they gave us, the measles, all those other vaccines, yeah, they helped. And I'm not gonna say they did, and I think they're wonderful. Do I know that the COVID vaccine is all that? No, I don't know that, and neither do you. None of us can prove it. Even the scientists can't prove it. The thing that struck me too was I got in an elevator, and it was supposed to be 4 people, and I wasn't going to go up without the people that were with me, and so I got in the middle. There was 5 of us, and they're kind of looking at me, and I said, isn't it funny that only 4 people are supposed to be in this elevator for social distancing, but you can watch an NFL game or an NBA game and they're packed houses? I wonder why. Because the rich run everything, and if you think any different, you're on crack. They run everything. If they wanted to, this thing would be snuffed out. It would be done. But they're not going to throw the money at it that it needs to, and then they're going to dictate to the poor guy how he's going to live his life while they continue to make their billions. It's a joke. So for me, I use my own sense, and to me, it's kind of amazing that more people don't. I mean, it's like the whole Democrat-Republican thing, the whole conservative-liberal thing. I really don't understand how you can look at things and not get a sense for what they are. I think Trump did some good things. Did I like him? No, I couldn't stand the man, but I think he did some good things. I think some of the things, the way he handled them, needed to be done differently. And I think we could have stuck with some of that stuff. Do I like Biden? I can't stand him either, especially now that he mandated that stuff. I just do not believe you mandate something and you can argue with me all you want. Oh, it's science and blah, blah, blah. You know what? That falls flat on its face. That is not true either. But is everything Biden's doing wrong now too? Oh, the gas prices have went up. You know what? Gas prices are controlled by futures, just like pork bellies or anything like that. Who controls that stuff? The rich. Okay, inflation's going up and all this money that's being given out and whatnot. Well, who do you think's going to get their hands on that stuff? The rich. They know that money's out there, prices are going to go up, they're going to keep that stuff. And yet we fight with each other about that stuff. The poor man fights with himself and with the middle class, which there's almost none left. It's gotten ridiculous. When are we going to be able to see past the BS? It's just a joke. And I couldn't help but think that when it comes to religion too. It's the same thing. I mean, if you really study it, and I know I'm going to piss a lot of people off, but I don't care. You can look this stuff up. It's factual. The name Jehovah is not God's name. Jesus isn't even the Messiah's name or the Christ or whatever you want to call it, however you want to term him. All those things were made up after the fact. Almost every holiday that we celebrate is a pagan holiday. It had nothing to do with Christianity. It was incorporated into Christianity. Even the terms we use, like the name Lord, was the name for the god Baal. Amen was also a term used for Baal, and yet we use it for our prayers. And yet you feel good when you say them, right? You feel good when you say those things. You feel like you're praising God. When the reality of it is that that's not really what Christianity taught. If you compare what the Christ taught compared to what the Apostle Paul taught, they don't jive. Paul was very pharisaical when he taught things like a Pharisee, made up a bunch of crazy rules like the Pharisees, things that Christ did not make up and Christ did not say. But we're supposed to believe that what Paul said, that the Christ came to him after the fact, when in fact his teachings do not jive with the Christ. They just don't. But people don't want to hear that. We get into things religiously and we stick with them. Oh, this is what I believe. I've seen this. This has happened to me. When the reality of it is nobody, and I mean nobody on this planet, can prove what they believe. Through their experience, maybe they can feel it for themselves, but for other people, they can't. I know people that are Hindus, people that are Muslims, Sikhs, different religions that have strong faith in what they believed. I was watching that show Vikings not long ago, and another one called The Last Kingdom, and they worshipped pagan gods, or as Christians would call them, false gods. And in those shows, they would call the Christians' God the false god. And they believed staunchly in Odin and these mythical gods. And they would give their life for them. And they believed that they directed their path and their destiny, and that the gods were directing things for them and whatever. Same way Christianity does today. They were very passionate about their beliefs. And I couldn't help but ask myself, why do people beat each other up over things they cannot even prove? Like the virus, like politics, like religion. It's crazy. I had a good friend of mine that even race. We met this dude a long time ago, and the guy was selling parts for these cars. And my buddy happens to be a black guy, and this guy's a white guy, an old white guy. And many people would say he's racist because of the things he says. The guy's got a heart of gold. And I was asking my black friend, I said, hey, I said, I want to talk about this in one of my speeches, and I want to know how you became friends with this guy. Because I know how my friend is. He sees racism, and he can't stand it. And I said, this guy is the stereotypical race guy. I mean, what didn't or clicked with you that allowed you to go ahead and invite him into your friendship, you know? And he said, well, his heart, man. The guy's got a heart of gold. He'd give you the shirt off of his back. He said, but I still remember the one time that he told me, you know what? You're different for a black man. You're just different. You're not like all the rest. And that's one thing that really irritates him. It just irritates him. He's like, what do you mean like all the rest? And that is very racist. But the man doesn't do it to be malicious. And I said, okay, so you can see past the stupidity or the ignorance that he has, right? And you can see the goodness in him. Why can't we do that with everything? Why? Why? Because some guy says that he's a Republican, or he's a conservative, or he's a Democrat, or he's a liberal. Can we not see past their beliefs that way and see who they are as a person? How come we can't see past religion? And the religion that I came from, I'm shunned now. Many of my family members don't speak to me. I have aunts and uncles that I haven't spoken to in years, call me the devil, blame me for all kinds of crazy things that I don't have anything to do with at all anymore. I have family members that basically didn't even have a funeral for me, just put me out of their life. I have friends that I did tons of things for, bought them food, helped move them, took care of their vehicles, you name it. They don't speak to me anymore. How come we can't see past those things? What is the malfunction? Why has our society gotten so black and white? Why do we see things one way? Why is everything Joe Biden does wrong for people that love Trump? Why is everything Trump did wrong for people that love Joe Biden? Why cannot people see the honest truth behind anything? I don't know. I mean, you can see one of your kids, they can have a problem. They can have a real problem and you can see past it because they're your kids and you love them. I know one thing, the scriptures say that the love of the greater number would cool off. And I do believe that's the way society's gotten. Love is cooled off. People have a hard time showing it now. Even when it's so obvious that it's the one thing that we need. We run from it. So I would just ask you to think about some of the things I've said. You can disagree with them. That's okay. But I want you to think. Really think. Work hard at the things that I brought out. See if what I'm saying is true or if it's BS. And you can have your religious beliefs. You can have your political beliefs. You can have your racial beliefs, whatever. We just had that thing with John Gruden. Where they fired him. They didn't fire him, he resigned. Because some of the things he said 10 years ago. We all know somebody that said something bad like that. We all know somebody that did. In fact, it could have been you or me that said something that was bad. Do we think that we should be put to death because of it, or we should be ostracized from society? I mean, where's our sense of compassion? How do people learn? It's not by being cut off. We see what happens with the prison system. It doesn't rehabilitate anybody. It doesn't do anything of the sort. Maybe somebody comes to their senses that's in there because they've been in so long and they've had time to work on themselves. Maybe once in a blue moon. But most of the time it just reinforces the ugliness that they already were. So I'd ask you to think about some of these things. And I'd ask you to think to yourself whether you can change the way you look at things. Can you change? Is it possible? Is there a need for change? Is there a need for us to look at things from all angles and to be honest with ourselves? You can love people that don't think like you. You can have compassion for people that aren't the same as you. Remember, like I always say, nothing good is easy and nothing easy is good. If it's worth having, it's worth working hard for. And it's okay to question the authorities. Doesn't mean you're a conspiracy theorist. It's okay to question the government. But question the government to question the government, not just the party you can't stand or that you don't like. Be honest with yourself. Anyway, with that, you have a great day and we'll talk another time.